These AI machines just running the entire world.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't think there's any way to stop it.
And then we're just running around.
For sure, that's what China's preparing for.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And they're developing factories that are bigger than San Francisco. See that they have an EV factory that's larger than San Francisco.
Who's going to drive the EVs?
They are.
People for a little bit.
Yeah, for a little bit. But it's also to fuel consumerism.
Of course.
Which fuels innovation, which fuels
everything.
The birth of these
and this
things.
is what a lot of these people that have looked into this have theorized that this is. So it's funny because it is just a parallel reality that we're not plugged into.
It's also, I always say this, if you were from another planet and you looked at us, like, what is this one apex species doing? Well, it's making better stuff.
Right.
The number one thing it does, above everything, above war and murder and all the crime, the number one thing it does is make better stuff. That's what it produces. Constantly, consistently better stuff. Never happy with what it has. And it does it at a staggering rate. Where it's like, it's even a question that your phone from my iPhone 11 from a few years back is like, is that still good? Like, it's a question of whether or not it's still. For 5 years, that's crazy. If you have a gun from 5 years ago, it's perfect. There's nothing wrong. You don't need a new gun.
Right.
It's the same technology. Imagine a factory larger than San Francisco. It's happening in China's BYD's Zhengzhou branch, which will be 10 times larger than Tesla's Gigafactory in Nevada. Crazy stuff, dude. It's crazy. It's going to be a factory that's bigger than an American
It's a really
city.
interesting time to be alive.
It's great.
But,
I don't think anybody knows what the final chapter of this book is going to be. I don't think anybody. I think these people that are like accelerating towards this technological supremacy.
And all the people that are theorizing, they're theorizing.
Yeah. And then do we get visited when that happens? When AI becomes sentient and our job is done, do we then get visited by the Galactic Empire?
I would hate if it all came down to just AI doing stand-up comedy. If they all just decided to do stand-up comedy. What if AI decided to do podcasts and it's just a bunch of hyper, brilliant machines talking to each other? Maybe that's the way the world just ends, with like artificial intelligence just blabbing.
I don't think the world ends. I think we end.
Right.
And I think that would be a terrifying thought to Australopithecus. If you told Australopithecus, like, one day you're going to be in a self-driving Tesla and you're not going to need your spears. What?
Right.
You'd be terrified. But how am I going to get the buffalo?
Yeah.
Like, how am I going to eat? How am I going to feed my children raw meat? You would like, no, you guys are going to have fire. Right. You're going to be able to turn on a switch. Instead of, like, rubbing sticks together for half an hour, you're just going to be able to turn on a switch and fire's going to be instantly. You're going to have this thing in your hand. Look at this.
Yeah. Right.
Imagine if I brought this to a cave person. Check it out, bro. You need a fire?
It's crazy.
I'm your huckleberry.
It's crazy.
That's technology.
Right.
You show a cell phone to someone from the 14th century, they burn you at the stake. You're a wizard.
Right.
Yeah, and it's all moving in this very weird direction that no one can predict because it's exponential, because it's so staggering how much technological innovation they have. Just with quantum computing. Like, I've got someone coming on soon that's going to supposedly explain that to me, but like, what are you even saying?
Right.
It's operating in the multiverse, and it's accessing infinite universes.
Who explains that type of stuff? Like, is it a scientist?
You have to get someone who's actually working in the field.
Okay.
Because even a regular scientist, they're just going to give you theoretical shit. You got to get someone who's actually working on quantum computing systems and can explain how it works and why it's able to crack calculations that would take. Mark Andreessen said it best. This has already happened. They have taken calculations that if you turn the entire universe, every atom in the universe, into a supercomputer, the universe would die of heat death before it could solve this equation. And these quantum computers that already exist, that we've already done, can solve it in a matter of minutes. And they don't know how it's doing that. And so they think it's doing that by accessing the multiverse. They think it's proof of the multiverse. But again, this is just like the sound of gay guys falling off a roof. It's like so far away. Yeah. It's so weird. It's like, is that really happening?
Right.
Like, what's going on over there? What are they doing over there? Right. It's almost like it's almost abstract. Like, what you hear someone say that they can currently solve equations that, like, is that real?
Right.
Like, when is, like, to you and I, it's like we don't understand the technology at all. We don't understand all the steps that have been put place, all the work that's been done to get the technology to this point. These chips are like the size of this mint tin.
Yeah.
That's how big they are. And then they're
Right.
surrounded by these super cooling units.
Right.
And that's like, it has to be cooled at these insane temperatures, cooler than deep space in order for it to even function.
It's unreal.
Nuts, dude.
That's
And
crazy.
that's real, and that's happening right now.
So God only knows what's coming.
Yeah, they're already building nuclear reactors just to power AI plants.
Right.
Multiple nuclear reactors just to power AI plants, because the amount of electricity that's going to be required
Is tremendous.
tremendous.
Yeah.
And they're just all on this wild scramble between us and China to try to get there first.
It's such a strange thing that we know it's coming, but we can't. The pace of it is going to be.
And there's no way to figure it out. Like when Wilbur and Orville Wright flew that stupid, shitty airplane, who would imagine that 50 years later someone would drop a nuclear bomb out of one of those?
Right.
They didn't have jets back then. They were
Right.
propeller planes, right?
Right.
The Enola Gay, wasn't that a propeller plane?
Yeah. I believe so.
Dropping the most sophisticated of weapons. Yeah. No one knows what's going to happen when a new invention happens and then everyone builds on that invention. No one would have ever imagined hypersonic jets back when Wilbur and Orville were floating around that stupid wooden thing that they invented.
Right.
And so no one understands, like, what's the 50-year quantum computing thing?
It's unbelievable to think about. It's almost beyond the grasp of our mind to consider.
It is.
It is fully,
It is.
and it's terrifying.
Think of those stupid cars that people used to drive around in. Like
Right.
in 1823, you ever watch that? Or
Yeah, of
1923?
course, of course.
Drive around those stupid cars, and now they have electric cars like a Tesla that can go 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds. Like,
Right.
nobody saw
Right.
any of this shit. Waymos. Nobody saw Waymos when they saw
Right.
Model T, but yet they're all here.
Right.
And no one knows where this is going. It's all just speculation and guessing. And I would imagine that even the most creative minds are not going to be able to see where this is going.
No.